ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Knight with another Rise of the Witch King commentary, and we have an exciting one for you today. As some of you may know, on GameReplays.org we recently hosted a tournament, and in this tournament, we had 16 players participating, simple single elimination. You do a best of 3 round with your opponent, and whoever wins gets to advance to the next round. And this is one of the games from the finals. So these two players are going to be very good. And in the top left here, we have DJParson as men. And in the bottom right, we have Swegrim, also known as Megrim, who is also men. These two are excellent players. And this is going to be really interesting. The map is actually the Old Forest. I'm glad that they actually picked kind of a different map than you often see in 1v1s. Because, people tend to pick Fords of Eisen 2 or something like that. And this is actually a really nice map. I'm just kind of scrolling around so you can see what the landscape is all like. And we can see here Megrim quickly getting his Gondor soldiers there. Now let me just actually... Okay, so we've got Rallying Call and Rallying Call. All typical. Nice placement of the farm there, as you can see. Really protected by this barracks. It's going to be a bit difficult to take it out, and it's pretty close to this fortress. And of course, that's the easiest farm. Like if you're going to go and attack an opponent's farm, this one's right in the way. Right, so this would be the first farm to target, but now that the barracks is in the way, it's not so easy to take it out. And now, Parson's put on the defense right off the bat. Trying to send his Gondor soldiers to stop the other unit, and his builder's in a bit of trouble there. He needs to get out of there. But he should be able to escape safely. And he's building a wall hub by the looks of it to protect his builder. And now these units are advancing to attack this farm. Now, Parson's already got his archery range set up, which is definitely going to be very useful for him. He's got his first unit of Gondor archers. He got those pretty fast. And this will definitely help him when he gets into any battle with his opponent. Now, if you look at Megrim's base, he still just has his barracks. So Megrim is not in a position right now to actually really take on Parson's armies. However, he is doing a bit of damage to his farms there. As you saw, he already took one out. And he's got more units heading up. Now over here, we have Rallying Call being used by Parson. And this is just not a battle worth fighting for Megrim. He's going to get destroyed here. I mean, not only is he dealing with archers, but obviously Rallying Call really increases the strength of Parson's units here. And he's moving in. It looks like he is going to go after this farm. I mean, he's got buffed units. He can take it out pretty fast. And these archers can actually attack these soldiers as they come out. This is definitely interesting to see. The farm quickly being brought down. So even though it was protected by that barracks, it just didn't hold out. And over here we have another little battle happening just between soldiers, Gondor soldiers. And as you can see here, good use of stances, shield wall formation, and defensive stance, which is what you should do. These archers did survive. These soldiers went down, but the farm also went down. And now Parson... Oh, actually, no, they didn't go down. If these are the same soldiers. Yeah, they are. So they managed to actually escape. They took out the farm and retreated back a little bit. They're actually level 2, so they can regenerate, and they can attack another farm. And these archers are just kind of standing there. They should really retreat. I mean, they're level 3, but it doesn't look like Parson's worrying about them right now. He's probably focusing on something else. So unfortunately, these archers are going to die by the looks of it. Or not. For some reason, Megrim just retreated there instead of finishing that unit, and now he can actually safely retreat. That's interesting. So that's good because they can actually regenerate. So it's good for Parson, that is. Now just trying to hold back these units in the middle. What do we have over here? We have just another Gondor soldier unit just kind of standing there. I should probably move and do something. And while this fighting is happening, and it looks like Parson has the general advantage in this battle, but for some reason he's moving back. Perhaps he's planning something. Now, let's just take a look at the corners here. As you can see, we actually have signal fires. See right here. At the corners of the map, so it will be interesting to see if one of the players tries to take one. Of course, you have these white layers also protecting them, which are kind of annoying to deal with, those whites. We have Gondor Knights out for Megrim. Very good choice. Now, Parson was prepared for this. He's already got his Rohan Spearmen out, and now the Knights are going to have to retreat a bit. This is definitely going to be interesting. We're seeing two different strategies employed by the men players here, with Parson going for archers and Megrim going for cavalry. It's definitely very interesting. Parson was getting a lot of swordsmen and archers, so it made sense to go for cavalry to counter them. But he did get his Rohan Spearmen unit out just in time. And now he's just kind of trying to keep these Knights at bay. These archers can get a few shots off. They're not going to do a whole amount of huge amount of damage. But the Knights are going to take out some farms, and there's not much Parson can do about it. If you micro your Knights really carefully, you can do quite a bit of damage. And he's got more soldiers actually taking out this farm. But Parson has buffed units, a lot of them up here. And this is definitely looking interesting, because Megrim really doesn't have much to actually stop this, and now he's coming back with his Knights to trample these guys. He's probably targeting his Rohan Spearmen right now. Kind of looks like he is. There's only one left. That means the Knights are free to just trample. And now you can see shield wall formation being used, and it takes forever to trample Gondor soldiers when they're in shield wall, unless they have their backs turned, and you get the flanking bonus, which is what just happened there. Flanking bonus is, I believe, you do 2 times damage when you attack a unit from the back. So if you're actually going to be trampled by cavalry, don't turn around. Actually face the cavalry. You're better off that way. See, right now those were at they were facing the Knights, and they didn't take as much damage. But nevertheless, very good response by Megrim here. His barracks was in huge trouble there. He could have lost it, but that one Knight battalion actually made a huge difference. Now he's getting a well, which will help him actually heal those units, especially those Knights, which are very expensive. Now we see Parson actually taking out this lair. He's just gonna finish it off now. We still don't see any. Actually, we do have a hero. We have Faramir out for Parson. Faramir is always useful as a first hero. He's pretty good at sniping, just taking out units from a distance. He's pretty hard to lose because he's at the back. And these Knights, again, they very carefully micro there to take out those archers. Very nicely done by Megrim. The Rohan Spearmen, unfortunately, just couldn't stop that. Faramir moving forward with a number of other units, just seeing what he can do in terms of damage. Those soldiers came a bit close to the spider lair, but that's just the way it is, because the spider lair is positioned in such a way that it's hard to avoid it. I mean, you'd have to go very, very close to the edge or something to avoid it. But the soldiers are pretty much fine. They can move in and do some harassing. And again, Parson is determinedly moving towards that barracks. See, the risk of putting a forward barracks like this is that it's easy to attack. Yes, it's protecting the farm, but it's also not protected by your fortress. Now, at the beginning of the game, not being protected by a fortress doesn't make a huge difference, but later on in the game, when you have fortress upgrades, it really does. And I think we saw double Hobbit summons there, each player summoning Hobbits on the other player. So both of these armies are just killing each other. And I think that was the File of Galadriel that was used. That's why they're running away like this. People forget that Frodo, wherever he is, one of these players, I mean, each of these players is Frodo. There's Frodo on Parson's team. But he has this File of Galadriel ability that causes enemy units to flee. And we can see he's the one who used it because it's charging. Always use this ability if you can. It's actually really useful. You gotta keep in mind that you have abilities like that. And we see rebuild being used. Definitely a good choice. You do not want to use. You do not want to use your, or you don't want to lose your barracks right off the bat like this. But it looks like there's still enough firepower here for Parson to actually take it down, and he's finishing it off. The barracks is down. We have a level 2 stables here. Megrim can get Rohirrim, but he needs to rebuild his barracks. He can't do this just with cavalry. Otherwise, of course, Parson will just spam pikemen. And archers protected by those pikemen, and that's going to be pretty deadly. Megrim's still using these soldiers, moving them around to do a bit of damage, targeting all the farms. and Parson's going to have to rebuild those farms, get more up there. And it really looks like both players have just been beating on each other. I'm just trying to take a look if there's any more farms on the outside here, but not really. His barracks built in a different spot this time, and Faramir kind of forced to retreat there. He was just being shot at by the fortress. Obviously, Faramir can't solo a fortress. Let's see what's happening over there. It looks like they finally... it looks like Parson's units finally engaged the soldiers and took them out, and he actually has knights now. So he's got his archery range, he's got his barracks, and he's got knights, and he's already upgrading the stables to level 2. We might see Rohirrim versus Rohirrim soon. And I'm sure each player will be considering getting either Theoden or Eomer to support their cavalry once they get that set up. And as you can see, we have Faramir from Megrim as well. So each player eventually doing what his opponent did, but just in a different order. So we do have 2 Faramirs on the field. There you go, Faramir slowly, you know, taking on these knights. Let's look up how much damage he actually does. Well, it's it's kind of hard to say because the spiderlings are also doing a lot of damage. Always got to watch out for those lairs. They're pretty deadly units, those spiderlings. Faramir being chased now by Parson. We see a Rohirrim summon. Who summoned the Rohirrim? And it's Parson who summons the Rohirrim. Let's just take a look at the powers. So Megrim, because of the fact that he's got rebuilt, he's some distance away from his 15-point power. But Parson not so much, and Parson was completely dominating there in Megrim's base, and that's it. That was a fast game, but there was a lot of action happening. Very well played by both players, and that was the second finals game between Parson and Megrim. Parson is also very well known for how good he is with men, you know, the faction. So yeah, it's definitely, I expected a very high level of skill here, and we definitely saw it. And of course, Megrim is just well known all around for being an excellent player. So this was a really fun game to cast. There was so much happening. You kind of see the best ways to really play as the Men of the West faction in Rise of the Witch King. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll be doing more casts from this tournament, and also more casts in general. If you go to gamereplays.org/Rise of the Witch King, we have a little tab called videos. You can only see all our latest casts there. So until next time, see you guys later.